Home is a place where you can find safety and shelter. Kayla knows too well what it's like to feel unsafe. As a Black trans woman, she has grown up in a world that casts her out for simply being who she is. But she's determined to live her truth with dignity and impact others like her by creating the safety and shelter of a home that every one of us deserves. This is Kayla's impact.
Home is a place where you can go and you can seek safety and shelter.
Home is like a sanctuary. Wherever I lay my head, I try to make it my sanctuary, my peace.
You can be at home anywhere as long as you are in a place where your heart is whole and you feel like you are where you need to be.
A lot of people in the trans community, they're still looking for a place to call their own. And once they do find that home, it becomes something very important to them.
We got to get our survival kits. We're doing about 25 to 30 this week. We want to make sure that we are putting all of our PPE supplies in. That's our mask, that's our hand sanitizer. And we definitely want to make sure that we're putting in our gloves, our hats, and our warming blankets. We put pepper spray, we put mace, we have alarm kits.
We have alarm kits, we have stun guns, pretty much everything that you need to protect yourself.
Except for a gun.
Except for a gun.
These kits are for trans women, trans femmes, trans masculine folks, as well as non-binary people. And we make our kits depending upon what type of items we get donated to us. Growing up here in Memphis, I was a very quiet, shy child. Kind of stayed to myself. And I think I was so reserved then because I knew I wasn't showing up whole. Back then, I didn't have the language to say I was transgender, but I knew I was different, and I knew that the body that I saw in the bathroom every morning was not the body that I was destined to be. I feel like a lot of my femininity, I suppressed it because I started noticing the negative reactions I would get from people who were not my family. I started transitioning about maybe 10 years ago. I made a firm decision that I wanted to change the outside to match what was on the inside. No one knew in my family that I was transitioning until maybe a year into my transition. And I told my mom by sending her a picture of me when I felt like I had achieved a few goals in my transition. Having a gay child's one thing, but then you have a child who's actually changing their gender, defying what society says, gender constraints should be. It's a bigger pill to swallow. Anybody else want food? Y'all good? Would you like a survival kit?
I've been one of those girls that didn't feel like I fitted in or I didn't belong anywhere.
Would you like a bag of food?
Being trans is a race within its own. So imagine being African American and trans on top of that. So it's like I'm battling two things. I have to be this type of way and this type of way. I have to fight for being an African American and I have to fight for being a transgender woman in America. So I have literally all the odds against me. In the South in general, people like me aren't accepted. And a lot of girls like me don't make it to the age of 35, and I will be 34 this year. So that's a blessing within itself because I've seen so many girls die at 25, 26, 22 over people just not accepting them for being who they are.
You be safe, okay?
Have a good one, be safe.
About 10 years ago, I ended up being homeless for a short time. I was stabbed 5 times. Both of my hands were slit wide open with a butcher knife. And I remember one night, and I was like, my mom can't find me. I don't want her to have to identify me in an alley or a cheap motel room. Trans people here in the South rarely report violence that doesn't result in death. My life experiences make me want to make sure that trans women don't have to endure what I endured. I knew that I couldn't just not do anything in my hometown about homelessness. There's no security and safety for trans folks in shelters. Trans femmes would have to conform and sleep in male quarters and vice versa. There's always a heightened sense of violence that can happen to you. So most trans people choose not to use the services of shelters here in Memphis.
I lived in a home like this on and off for the whole full 5 years I was homeless. Some landlords, they'll turn me around and say, we don't allow people like you here. Sometimes I had to sleep in abandoned houses like these because that's the only way I knew how to survive. Felt like I don't got nowhere else to go.
We were trying to figure out what's a permanent solution to this housing problem. And what we realized was that in our journey through my sister's house was when we became homeowners, we had a lot more autonomy over how we governed our space. So we wanted to pass that blessing on to the individuals in our membership, which is home ownership, in the form of a tiny house. So I am here at our first site. I just wanted to come by some shades. Okay, so we are here. I'm gonna turn this camera. And here is our 2 tiny homes, our first 2 tiny homes. I'm gonna walk on in. So you can get an idea of what it's gonna look like. And I also wanna show y'all the neighborhood, just to show y'all. There are very few houses over here, and we're in hopes of acquiring all of these lots that are adjacent to our tiny homes to revitalize it, provide free and affordable housing, specifically to the TGNC community here in Memphis, Tennessee, because we deserve it. We deserve it. So today we came out to clear up some of the debris so that we can go ahead and get the land prepared for us to start construction over here. We have some staff, some volunteers, and some members of my sister's house here today. This particular lot, there hasn't been a house here in over 12 years. The house that was here burned down. No one wanted to rebuild. And people just come here and dump tires and like a lot of the stuff that we've seen today. It has been a lot of work. And we've had to raise a lot of money. But I have a community that is really, really counting on me to make this happen. And I'm still amazed that we were able to come up with this idea and we were able to execute it the way we've been able to execute it. We want to be able to help people plan ahead. These homes will allow people to plan for 5 years and plan for 10 years. People can go back to school. People can actually live a full life thriving versus only being able to plan for a week or a month in advance.
And watch your step, we're still under construction.
This looks amazing.
Wow.
Okay, I'm excited.
This gonna be my living room, my bedroom.
both. It's gonna be set up like a studio. So your bed is gonna be here, and it's gonna convert into your living room when you need living space when you want to invite people over and entertain. That's what you're gonna do there. And then when you want to go to sleep, you let your bed down and you let your hair down.
Yeah.
Get you some rest.
So you got your fridge right here, your drawer space, your sink and dishwasher, and so forth.
This is the first time I ever have my own.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
This is a long way from being homeless, ain't it?
That's a long way from being homeless
Yes.
and being on the streets. It just feels good that I got chosen to be the first one to have one. And yesterday I was thinking, like, God, wow, this is the first time I ever had to have my own home. And I was supposed to start in tears yesterday.
Yeah, ditto.
I was supposed to start in tears yesterday.
Ditto.
Me, that's to think about, like, wow, so I won't have to worry about being kicked out of somebody else's home. I won't have to worry about sleeping on somebody else's couch. Or I had to go through the problems where people didn't want me to be around them because I'm different than them.
If there was one thing that I would like people to know about trans folks, is that we're human, that we have feelings, and that we're worthy. Like of everything that we're asking for or everything that we're entitled to, we're worthy of it. We are sitting here in a house that's completely built. Somebody has to inhabit it. And I think it should be you.
What?
I think this should be your house.
Oh,
You didn't know you was gonna get a house today, did it?
I didn't even put it in retrospective or just, girl, you know I didn't think nothing about it.
You have shown a lot of courage. You help a lot of people. You nurture people. And I think it's time for people to start nurturing you. And the community has nurtured MSH to be able to provide this house to you, if you'll accept it. And I have a hug. Good boy. Now that I'm able to express myself and my gender expression is outwardly everywhere and you can't hide my transness, I feel like I'm a whole new person and I'm able to do things like the Tiny House Project and be on a national level where I'm just all out there. There's no secrets. You can show up how you want to show up and people are going to perceive you to be whatever they want to perceive you to be. Just be true to yourself.